Average salary for a junior doctor here in Australia is between 80 to 120,000 Australian dollars per annum as of now. What does it mean for you? What are the taxes and cost of living in Australia? Today in this video, I'll be talking about all of that. So I'm going to break this conversation down into major cost of living in Australia. Number 2, salaries of junior doctors. Number 3, salaries for senior doctors. Number 4, tax and cost of living in Australia in current environment. Number 5, average monthly savings. And number 6, tips to maximize your earning. Most of the figures here are average, as take-home salary for senior doctors and GPs can vary greatly. However, real take-home salaries for junior doctor is in a very similar bracket. Also, I'm not a financial or life advisor, and your own savings depend on your own habits of expenditure. So one of the main reasons to migrate to Australia as a doctor is due to the salaries and expense ratio is still better maintained when adjusted to inflation. Major cost of living in Australia is going to be the house rent or mortgage. So if you look at the table, average house price in Australia nationally is about $835,000, with New South Wales on top of the list with an average house costing about $1 million. And South Australia, you can buy a house there for about $547,900. Also, the Reserve Bank in Australia since late last year has been increasing the interest rate on mortgages. So what happens? The current variable interest rates charged by the bank average between 4 to 6% annually. So what do landlords do? They pass on these increased repayments to their tenants. Also, due to returning migrants post-COVID, there are fewer places to rent. If you look at the table, it shows that average weekly rent for all, both houses and apartments, is about $680 per week in Sydney and about $507 per week in Melbourne. But I think, as with most things in media, the news that you hear is blown out of proportion. The catch is you just have to move out of central Sydney and central Melbourne areas. Also, for doctors, due to their better income and job security, they're actually given preference for any rental property. So just be mindful, for any doctor at any level, the biggest chunk of their salary is either going to go into their mortgage if they own a house, or to a rent, which depends on where they live and work. Rest everything else is roughly priced the same. I mean, the petrol, groceries, utility bills are pretty standard across the country. The starting annual salary for postgraduate year 2 or PG year Y2 doctors, that is first year resident, is about $91,000 in Australian Capital Territory, with lowest in Tasmania to about $80,000. Nationally, overall, the average annual salary for a first year resident is about $87,000 per annum. Now, there are penalty rates. So if you're working out of hours, evening, night shifts, weekend, and public holidays, it may add up to about $30,000 to $40,000 per annum to that $87,000. So maximum salary for a second year resident could be around $120,000 pre-tax. Similarly, for a registrar who could be postgraduate year 4, the salary may increase up to $130,000 to up to $150,000 per annum. Pre-tax, all the penalties included. Salaries for consultant and GPs are totally different, and they're dependent on a number of different factors. Number 1, how much of their income is coming from the government work, and what component of their work is the government work, like full-time or part-time. Private work, how much they earn privately. Locum work. Tax structure, whether there's a structure as sole trader or company. Now, based on the tax filing, following are the top income earners in Australia. Surgeons, $401,000. Anesthetists, $382,000. Internal medical specialists, $301,000. Other medical practitioners, $215,000. Psychiatrists, $225,000. And GP, $250,000 to about $300,000. But for a fact, every doctor in this category earns more than this, and this is due to when the doctor's private work is counted as a business, which gives them different tax structure altogether. It is a well-known fact that an average neurosurgeon, orthopedic surgeon, or cardiologist with private practice may earn about $1 million annually. So how come A2 is recognizing their income to about $401,000? This is because $600,000 out of their $1 million income is tax deductible due to operational cost of their business. This includes office rents, equipment rents, staff salaries, the leases of the cars, bills, utility bills, which are billed at the commercial rate, conferences, courses, and even investment properties, which is how many of the Australian build their wealth, or all of the money that they put in their investment property and it is negatively geared, meaning that they're losing money on their investment property, can be tax deductible. Now, GPs in Australia operate as businesses, and lately they have introduced private billing because they're complaining that the government rebates are not keeping up to maintain a viable business. On an average, GPs will earn about $250,000 to $300,000 annually at Medicare rates plus some private billing, which is equivalent to that of a full-time medical consultant. Now let's talk about deductions, tax deduction and cost of living expenses. First, $18,200 are tax-free. Between $18,000 to $45,000, you will give 19 cents for each dollar earned. Between $45,000 to $120,000, you'll pay $5,092 plus 32.5 cents for each dollar earned over $45,000, all the way up to 120. So as an example, if a Dr. A pre-tax income with all the penalties was about $120,000, this would be taxed at $29,467,000, meaning the take-home salary would be about $90,000 annually, meaning the monthly salary would be paid at about $7,500, paid in 2 fortnightly payments, which is roughly equivalent to about 4,000 British pounds. Now, average expenses for a small family, which includes husband, wife, and 2 kids, the rent would be about $2,500 per month. That includes average rent across both cities and regional areas. If you're not a permanent resident, you will have to have a medical insurance. That is about $500 for a single, up to $1,000 for a family. If you're not a permanent resident, kids' school fee is payable, which is about for a child about $500 per month. Electricity, water, internet, and phone, they would cost you about $350 per month. Car maintenance costs like is fuel, comprehensive insurance, third-party insurance, that would cost you about $500 per month. Groceries between $800 to $1,000 per month, and miscellaneous bills, council tax or strata rates, clothes, I would equate to about $1,000 per month. So on an average, you will be spending about $5,000 to $5,500, minus that from your take-home salary of $7,500. So you will be saving on an average about $2,000, or if worst case scenario, $1,500 per month. Now, there are some annual expenses. As doctors, we have to maintain our medical registration, and that is a renewal fee of about $500 to $700. We do exams and a lot of courses, so that might be up to $5,000. Now, one of the other major expenses is going to be your international traveling. So if you're a migrant doctor and you want to return back to the country, a subcontinent or UK, then for a small family, you're talking about $10,000 in ticket. What are the tips to maximize saving here in Australia as a junior doctor? Now, annual tax return. The salary of doctors working in a hospital or a government hospital is taxed by the employer, that is the hospital. But there are many expenses that can be claimed back, like annual medical registration fee that we just talked about, courses, exams fee, uniform, scrubs, and shoes that you wear at work, medical indemnity insurance, local travel for courses, studies, and exam, even parking, laptops, computer equipments, mobile phones. If you keep track of all of your work-related expenses, you may get an average of $8,000 to about $10,000 back. Talk to a good tax agent who has an experience of working with doctors. Number 2, salary packaging. Now, salary packaging is when you arrange to receive less income after tax in return for your employer paying for benefits out of your pre-tax salary. For example, let's say a doctor earns about $100,000 annually and they are salary packaging, say about $15,000 is salary package for a car installments or for a car. So $85,000 would be their income for tax purposes, reducing the taxable income to $85,000. So you're paying immediately less tax. Instead of $100,000, you're paying tax on $85,000, plus $15,000 would be a benefit of a pre-tax income used for car repayment. What can be salary package? A lot. A car loan repayments, your laptops and phones, health insurance, kids school fee, childcare fee, and personal expenses like uniform, scrubs, etc. But just make sure that you don't double dip, meaning don't salary package as well as claim them in tax returns, because you do get audited. So total grossed up salary packaging value is up to maximum about $17,000 annually. Number 3, meals benefit. So employers provide meals entertainment card, which has a pro rata total annual value about $2,640. And this amount can be spent on restaurants, drinks, meals, even overnight stay in a hotel where you're having a meal. Also, you can do small events like small birthday parties and house parties and dinners. The total value of meals and entertainment is 5,000 grossed up, capped annually. And this meal entertainment is in addition to the salary packaging. So certainly a lot of saving there. Fourth tip, live close to the hospital and rent a unit, because units are cheaper to rent compared to the houses. So if you're single, then obviously share a nice apartment with a colleague and you'll immediately save 50% of your rent and utility bills. Number 5, public transport is better in city. However, it might not be convenient for you and your family if you're traveling everywhere together. Now, there can be smart ways of saving on groceries, especially if you're buying from traditional stores like Aldi, Woolworths, and Coles brand. Instead of spending huge amount of dollars on third-party products, you can buy supermarkets' own products like Coles and Woolworths' own products, which have always got special, and you can save hundreds of dollars weekly. Now shop around for medical, car, internet, and mobile phone packages, and often you can have them tailor-made to your specific needs, and you can save on an average hundreds of dollars. Although I don't encourage it, but right now there are significant staffing shortages, and the hospital may invite you to do an additional shift, which would be in excess to your 80 hours a fortnight. And these overtimes are paid at an average about $100 to $120 per hour. So if you do it once a month, you can again increase your take-home salary. We all feel pressured to send money back home to support our parents and loved ones. Now choose a convenient amount every month and work out the best exchange rate to maximize your dollar when you're sending out money to your family. Number 10, international travel to see family back home is the biggest expense that you might incur. So shop around for a good deal, especially early on in the year, and 6 months into your travel time, and you can save easily thousands of dollars. If you cannot save money at all here in Australia, maybe the best way would be to invest in a real estate on installment basis back home in your home country. And in that way, you can ensure that the minimum amount is taken out every month without you worrying about it. And finally, often easier said than done, maintain a budget without over budgeting every little thing. The best way is to keep away a fixed small amount in a savings account and just don't touch it, and enjoy the rest of the money for maintaining good quality of life. Thank you very much. I hope you like the top tips in this video and all the information that I've given you. Please share your comments to let me know what works out for you and what doesn't work out for you. Look after yourself and your loved ones. Thank you very much.